Let's try to do that one more time. Second spec is going to be the second sequence, 27 foot-pounds. Let me get a marker just so I can stay on track here. That is it for the rocker arm assembly. Make sure all my bridges are seated properly. Push tube seated properly. I'm good to go. Now we can do our valve lash adjustment next. And I'll show you guys how that looks. Alright, so we got our valve lash adjustments here. At cylinder number 6, top dead center. We're gonna adjust 2 exhaust, 3 intake, 4 exhaust, 5 intake, and then 6 intake and exhaust. And then once we bar the engine over again, we're going to be at cylinder 1, top dead center, and that's going to be intake and exhaust on 1, intake on 2, 3 exhaust, 4 intake, and 5 exhaust. So those are our valve lash sequence, and we're going to be using a 0.48, let's see, millimeter feeler gauge, which is 0.019 feeler gauge. I'll show you how that looks in a second. When I do my valve lash adjustments, when I'm checking for the drag, I want my feeler gauge to just drag a little, but not too much, to the point where your forearm muscle twitches a little, and that'll be a good indication for a good adjustment. At least that's how I do it, or that's how I was taught. So everybody does it differently, but that's how I do it. Alright, now we're going to install all 6 injectors, replace the O-rings, a new seal at the bottom. After installing, we got to torque them down to 30 foot-pounds. Alright, we got all our injectors, hold downs, tying down to spec. Now we put our injector harness gasket on, and then can't forget to put this big black O-ring here for the high pressure rail. And then we put our rail on, torque that down, and then our valve cover goes on, and that should be it for our valve train. Alright, we got our high pressure oil manifold O-ring. Lube it up a little with some oil, and ready to install that. It's a really heavy manifold here. Have our torque sequence written down, so it gives me an indication where I'm at as I'm torquing everything down. And we're going to torque these bolts down to 22 foot-pounds. All our bolts are torqued down. Let's install the injector harness now. Alright, matter of fact, I think we're going to replace this harness because we have some, if I can show you guys. See how there's like residual oil in there? You guys can barely see it, but yeah, so it seems like oil pushed through these pins on this back harness, so we're gonna go ahead and replace this just so eliminate any issues that we're gonna have in the future. Alright, we got our new injector harness here, so let's throw this on. Alright guys, and just like that, connected our harness to all our injectors, so we're good to set our valve cover on. Actually, I'm putting this on backwards. Hold on. Wait a minute. Alright. Just like that. Our valve train is complete. All we gotta do is run these bolts down to hold down this valve cover, and we can put the rest of our engine back together. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video of rebuilding the guts of a Maxxforce 10. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you guys want to see more engine tutorial videos or anything that I do in my everyday life.